Jason, welcome to Halloween Daily, man. Thanks so
For
much for
having
hanging
me.
out with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Well, you know I am excited. I'm a big fan, of course, and every day is Halloween for us. I think that's something you can relate to in your life and in your line of work, certainly. And I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing Halloween was probably a big deal to you growing up too. Like I'm picturing you making your own masks as a kid. Am I on the right track with that?
Yeah, so my birthday is actually in October, so I can't think of
Perfect.
a birthday where I didn't spend at least part of my birthday money at the local drugstore or what at the local art supply store buying Halloween masks or makeup or something and just trying to go all out every year. So, but also growing up in Seattle, the trick was you always had to work a parka or a jacket into your Halloween costume. So it was like, like usually it was spooky Eskimo or something. So, you know.
What what was the first mask you made, like just for fun for yourself? Do you remember?
My favorite was those like the really cheap Jason masks.
Yeah.
The like the knockoffs where they weren't the like
Hmm.
officially licensed, so they'd have the like the slits in them or whatever. And
Yeah.
I would always like take those and like paint like get a Sharpie or something and draw the red triangles on them and stuff as a kid and try to just make whatever I could out of what we had. So not to date myself, but I grew up without the internet, so it was kind of whatever you could find at the your local store or whatever, and just kind of figure it all out. So
Right. It wasn't like there was the tutorials now that, like you said, you can go on YouTube and find or behind the scenes stuff. I mean,
yeah,
I'm from the generation. I love the behind the scenes DVDs because we didn't have a lot of that growing up with
yeah,
VHS. There you didn't get that. So I mean, I still remember like the thriller behind the scenes, just being so enthralled with that because it was one of my earliest memories of seeing a lot of that stuff behind the scenes. Because you're right,
absolutely. Yeah,
without the
that's how.
internet.
No, that DVDs were huge. I remember,
Yeah.
I always joke with Tom is that I didn't realize that Sex Machine from Dusk Till Dawn did the special effects in Creepshow and directed Night of the Living Dead
Right.
until there was DVD behind this, DVD
Hmm.
commentary and and supplemental materials.
Right.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's helped, broaden everybody's awareness of the industry, of the special effects industry, the mask making industry in particular too, and just give a whole new appreciation for that, I think, which, is has been great for newer generations for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, I still buy physical. I love physical media.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few people that will just not let it die. I'm like I love getting the 4K and the steel books and the that new supplemental materials and the 20th anniversary editions, and I'm just a sucker for physical media. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Same here.
And,
Um,
and then I'm a real sucker because I'm traveling all the time. So then I go and I buy him like I'll buy him physically so I can watch him at home. And then I'm like, oh wait, when am I ever going to be home to actually watch this? So then I end up buying it on like Amazon Prime anyway. So I'm like, yep,
yeah.
just take all my money.
I'm the same way though, but yeah, long live physical media. We gotta preserve it somehow, you know, because just too often now in the digital realm, you buy something digitally and then you realize a year later that it's not on whatever service you had
Yeah.
been watching it on, and it's like how does that even work? But
And
but
the thing I
DVDs
really
still
like,
work.
yeah, but I also love that. I think it was Christopher Nolan who said it that there's no regulations on like color grading and sound mixing and
Right.
everything on streaming. And so if you really want to see a film the way that the director wanted you to see it, that physical media is the best way to see it.
That's
So
a great point.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Um, so, I mean, in addition to so many of your cool projects that our audience is familiar with everything from your work with WWE and Black Phone and just, Terrifier 3, I mean, all kinds of cool stuff. In there is this film, The Jester, and now we have The Jester 2. And The Jester, it's a Halloween slasher. I love my Halloween slashers all day long, and The Jester delivers on that. And the look in particular, it's gone through a little bit of an evolution from the first film to now. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that and what your approach was to evolving the Jester's look, the mask in particular, and just his overall look for the Jester too.
Yeah, so when we got approached to come back, we got approached originally to do the first mask for the first film. And, absolutely loved working with Colin, the director, and
Mhm.
Michael, the guy who plays the Jester. And then, we got a call about a year and a half ago to about coming back for part two. And one of the big things that Colin really wanted to change was the look of the Jester. We talked and we can, just kind of spitballed ideas. And we were kind of like, how can we do this? How can we go back to sort of what he looked like in the short films with the just the half mask and everything, and kind of get away from the whole head
Mhm.
mask and everything and do something fun and unique? So that's where we came up with like the sort of embedded look for it. And that was a lot of fun. And we did a whole new take on it and a new design, and there's even a scene in the new movie where it explains why he looks differently. And so, that was a lot of fun. That was the very first thing that Colin and I talked about. Was he was like, even before he sent me the script, he's like, I want to redesign it. I want to go back to sort of our roots. He's like, we felt we got a little too far away from what fans wanted from the look of the Jester from the first film, and they kind of wanted to go back to that. So that's where we did with it, and I'm really, really happy. I love the way it came out. It looks, it's eerie to me. It like just the
Yeah.
like embedding and getting any sort of, if you've ever had like a splinter or something and just feeling how painful that is under, that little microscopic piece of wood under your skin. I couldn't imagine having something that looks like it's been nailed into your face and like been there forever. So
It's definitely a cool, unique look, like you said. It's not just a mask now; it's become part of him. And
yeah.
it's embedded in him. Um, and on that evolution, I we talked to Colin recently about, I mean, this obviously isn't the first slasher set on Halloween, and about walking that balance of, wanting to deliver what fans want, but still trying to keep things fresh and keep things a little bit unpredictable at times. So in your realm, not just from the Jester's look, but from that, but from the FX in general, can you talk a little bit about that? Knowing that there's certain things that slasher fans were here for, you got to deliver on, but then you also want to keep things a little bit fresh. And I don't want to spoil anything, but ways to keep the genre exciting.
Yeah, well, one of the approach I took for it is that the
Mm-hmm.
Jester is he's a psychotic magician. He's a murderous
Yeah.
magician. And so that's kind of how we thought about all the gags for the movie, is that we're like, all
Right.
right, how can we do these like magic tricks? Which is something that, working for Tom Savini for years, Tom always drilled into my head was like, he's like, these are magic tricks. Like, sometimes a sleight of hand will be more effective than a $200,000 animatronic puppet. So that was sort of the approach we did, and just thinking of ways to do like really simple yet effective gags, and kind of bringing that old style of magic into our world for the special makeup effects for the film. Was a lot of fun, and it was a big challenge. We had a quick turnaround, and just getting everything built here in Pittsburgh and then getting it all the way to Missouri, and then shooting, and then we shot all nights for the movie, and that was really a bit of a challenge. But we found this beautiful little town outside of Columbia, Missouri. I don't remember what it was called, but it looked like it looked like something from like, it reminded me of the town from like Get Out. Like it was like this weird, like pristine it was so the town was so nice that it felt fake. I was like, I'm like, there's no way anybody actually lives in this town. Like this is so like pristine that like it felt like almost like a set. Like there was,
Yeah.
I didn't see like one broken down car on a yard and no trash on the streets. Like
Wow.
it was just this like really beautiful, serene town that we just found and shot at every night. And everybody in the town was so welcoming and accommodating. And we're running around spraying blood at 3 o'clock in the morning with people running up and down the street, and nobody called the cops on us or anything. So it was a lot of fun. It was a fun shoot.
That's always cool to hear that you guys are having fun behind the scenes
Yeah.
as much as we're having fun watching it. And it is a fun watch. I know our audience is going to enjoy watching it, especially this Halloween season. Again, it's a Halloween slasher. For our last minute or so, we always try to ask everybody, if we have a chance, what does Halloween itself, the holiday, mean to you?
Um, I, I'm part. I'm Mexican, so there's always the Day of the Dead element. So
Yes.
there's a lot of,
Hmm.
remembering our past loved ones and things of that
Yes.
nature. So that's always like been a big part of my culture. But also, it's just it's a fun day to me. Like Halloween is the day where we get to kind of just let go and
Hmm.
be whoever we want to be for 6 hours and dress up how we would, you know, get to wear however we want and just enjoy it. I think Halloween, I look more forward to Halloween than I do Christmas.
Yeah.
So, and
Well,
I love Halloween, and it's my favorite time of year. So, and especially now living on the East Coast, like I actually get to see fall and the way it's always portrayed, like in the like in Halloween and the actual like
hmm.
movies, and getting to like see like the autumn leaves, and like my wife and I have gone to Sleepy Hollow a few times and this and that,
Awesome.
and it's just like it looks like how fall should feel instead of growing up in Seattle where it was like our your options are either light rain or heavy rain. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I love hearing that, and I love hearing that you're experiencing it even better than ever and more than ever right now. So
yeah,
that's
cool.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Definitely cool to hear. Well, I know you're super busy today, man. The movie's great. We love it, and your work is always exciting, and we always look forward to it. I appreciate you taking the time. And instead of saying goodbye, I'm just going to wish you a very happy Halloween.
Ah, thank you so much, man. Happy Halloween to you as well.